Alright, this is a tutorial on how to create a presentation using screenshots. The first thing, just basic, that I like to do, and you can do this however you like, but if you right click your desktop, you'll get this menu that pops up, and I'm going to choose sort by date last opened. That way, whenever I create a screenshot, it always puts it in the same place, and if I create another one, the latest thing appears at the top here, and this is the previous one I took, so that they come out in order, but I don't want either of those, so I'm going to pitch them. So the way I use this is if you have your text online or any resource that you would like to display in a presentation fashion, I think this is useful for. So I'm going to open my Algebra 2 book that we have on our computers and scroll to really any chapter here that I might want to create a lesson around. So let's say we're starting some chapter. So you can see all the pages here of our book. So I'll keep this over here so that we can see all the screenshots appear over to the right here. But maybe the first thing I want to do, if I zoom in here, the resolution's pretty good, so I feel comfortable going and zooming there. To create a screenshot is a screenshot that you get to dictate the screen that you're shooting. Or the part of the screen that you want is Command-Shift-4. You hold those down and these crosshairs appear. Command-Shift-4. And then you get to choose what you'd like to take a picture of. And you do that by clicking and holding and dragging your crosshairs to whatever you'd like to take a picture of. So, and again, it showed up over here on the right. If we open that up, you can see exactly what we took a picture of. And it's just timestamped is the file. So maybe that's what I want to call my lesson. I'm looking at these notes. There's some things maybe I want to include, maybe some things I don't. But here we go. Here's an example problem that I'll want to do on the board. So I'll take a picture of that because I'm going to do that problem on the board. If I'd like, perhaps I could include the solutions either on the next slide or for the notes for the students. Scroll down. Here's another example. Command-Shift-4 brings the crosshairs up, and I take a picture, and it shows up right here. So example 1 is right here. Here's the title. Example 1, example 2. So everything just goes in order. And I'm scrolling down. Oh, there's some notes maybe. Talk about the summation symbol and sigma notation. So let's grab all of this, and that looks good. And whatever you want. So now that I have all the pictures that I want for my notes, in the math department, a lot of us use Notebook, which is essentially just a whiteboard. But that's how we present a lot of our presentations on the smartboards. So we can drag our pictures in and resize, and as you do this, you'll get better with taking the pictures. You don't want to take pictures, Control or Command-Shift-4. You don't want to take pictures that just include everything you want, because that way when you drag them in, you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. Maybe you don't want it exactly touching the edges of the screen there. I don't like that as much as I like this. There's some room. So when I take the pictures, I include a little bit of space on both sides. Now let's bring in maybe example 1. So there's, again, this was the heading there, and example 1, plop that in there, and like that. So there's my slide 1, and I can, it's a lot neater when I do it in the room. but you start writing and move on. Like I said, create a second slide. I'll clone the page here, and so now we have two of the same page. If I scroll down here, one, I can get rid of this. But I could have put the solutions here. So in page 1, do the work. Next page, just drag in the solutions. But I don't think we took a picture of that. So we move on to the next page, and I drop my second example in there. So that's ready to go. Go to the next page. There were some notes, I think, about sigma notation. Drop those in. And yeah, it's good to go. Once all that's done, what was this last thing? Oh, another picture. I've got my slides all ready to go, and I just run through these in class, do the problems, call kids up to do the problems as well. And then you can also, when you save it, you save it as a notebook file. This was 10-1 notes. I'll save it to my desktop. And when I save it to my desktop, you'll notice that it goes to the upper right-hand corner because that was the most recent thing that I've done. But I also would like to save as a PDF. That way I can post it. I'll also drop that on the desktop. You gotta go to print. Sorry, not file. Print. I like this look, the large look. So 2 slides on each page. Question page and maybe answer page below it, so the kids can scroll pretty easily. And this is where then I'll be able to save it as a PDF. So 10-1 notes is the notebook file, and then maybe 10-1 notes blank before I do all the work. I'll save to the desktop, and then when I do the work on here, and there's all the work that I've done in class, I can then save it again as 10-1 notes complete and post the solutions. My handwritten solutions. So you can or cannot include perhaps the book solutions depending on where you draw your problems from, but the work that gets done in class, either by you or by the students, can then be saved and posted as a PDF. So here's the PDF notes that I would post on my MIDI, and this is what the kids would see and open in Notability. Notes included right there, and my expectation of them is that they're following along with whatever I'm doing or another student is doing on the board. And this works for any material so you create all these files, you create your presentation. You could do the same thing in a Microsoft PowerPoint or the Mac version, Keynote, excuse me, and create the same thing. When you are done, you don't need these screenshots anymore. I don't need the notes. Well, the notes you would keep, but the screenshots can go away. Just take them to your trash bin, and what you're left with would be the notes, but I don't need those. I'm just working on screen recordings. So that's the quick name of the game. Command-Shift-4 to take pictures of whatever you want and just dump them into whatever presentation tool you like to use. Thanks for watching.